Welcome to another S&P 500 analysis. Today is February 7, 2023. What you are seeing on the screen here is a price action today that happened on the E-mini S&P 500 during the time that Jay Powell was speaking and also after he finished speaking. And here you see this when he starts speaking, the first 15 minutes, the E-mini S&P 500 future moved over 53 handle, 53 point. That's more than $2,500 per contract. Okay, that's how much it moved. That's only on the first 15 minutes. Then on the next half an hour, we have this move down here, and that's almost 77, almost 77 handle, and that is over $3,600 per contract. Then on this one here, after he finished speaking, in the afternoon, we have this move here that took a little bit under 2.5 hours or so, and it moved almost 90 points. That is $4,500 per contract on the E-mini S&P 500. So isn't this a crazy market or not? And in this video, we're going to take a look at the market underneath the surface. What I mean by that is we're going to take a look at the internal and what's really driving this market. So stay tuned. Now let's start with this S&P 500 intraday chart along with some of the internals. You can see when it opened, it was actually open negative and was down. Then somewhere around 11 o'clock, it filled this gap and it started turning green. Then here is when Jay Powell started to speak, and that was at 12:40 Eastern Time or 9:40 Pacific Time. You can see that it shot up and then it came back down. And when it finished, it's right here from a double bottom. And here's a little bit of a fake out on a double tweezer type of a candle here. And once it moves above here, then it's off to the races. Now looking at the VIX here, you see the VIX didn't do too much. It's basically just been sitting right underneath the 20 level all day long. But we did see the up-down volume ratio. Initially, it was negative. Then during Jay Powell's speech, or his little conversation, it actually turned positive. Then when he's done, turned negative. Then when the market decided to do a little bit of a short squeeze, that's when it turned positive once again. In addition to that, we could also look at the advanced decline. The daily advanced decline was negative. In other words, there were more declining stock than advancing stock. Then when Jay Powell started to have a little conversation, then this actually turned positive. So there were more advancing stock than declining stock. Then when he finished in the afternoon, then we basically have a turn negative once again, more declining stock than advancing stock. And then once this short squeeze start taking hold, we see that the advanced decline turned positive once again, and it ended up with somewhere around 800 more advancing issue than declining issue. Let's take a look at the sentiment chart here. Here's the S&P 500. As you can see, the S&P 500 finished the day with a 1.28% gain, a little bit over 52 points. And you see that the VIX ended up at 18.66. So pretty much similar to whatever the last few days are, right? Sitting between 17, 18. And right now, the put-call ratio is also back up at 0.75, sitting at about 0.82. So not much change. Yesterday, I think it was 7.76 or something like that. So not too much change here. And right now, we're basically looking at a market that is ripping higher, but the sentiment is remain unchanged. And looking at the up-down volume ratio for the New York Stock Exchange, with the S&P 500 up over 1.2%, it's only 1.6 to 1 in favor of the up volume. So that is not very impressive, and that doesn't mean there's any strong buying pressure pushing this market up to that, gaining 52 point on the S&P 500. And also look at how narrow the market participation is. There's only 751 more advancing issues than declining issues. So that is not a broad market advance, but looking underneath the surface, it is not that strong. And here the new high, new low, 79 more new high than new low. But then when you break it down, it's only 88 stock make new 52-week high and 9 stock make new 52-week low. And here we see the cumulative advanced decline line. It is climbing up It's also it pulled back a little bit, so not much have changed except that it just continued to move up. But we are seeing a little bit of flattening. I wouldn't be surprised if the daily advanced decline keep at underperforming the extent of the rally. We probably will see a little bit of a flatness coming to here, and that will starting to develop some sort of negative divergence. Then we will see this S&P 500 peak. And here we are looking at the NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ 100 actually gained over 2%. It was up 2.1%, 263 points. And look at the anemic up-down volume ratio of 1.8 to 1 in favor of the upside. And the AD, the advanced decline, the advancing issue outnumbered the advanced decline. I mean the declining issue by 886. Not something that you want to write home about. So again, it is not that strong of a rally, and it is not that broad-based of a rally. And look at the NASDAQ basically gaining over 260 points. With these kind of internal, it's not very good. And here on the new high, new low, 102 stock made new 52-week high, 44 made new 52-week low. Now the advanced decline line is moving up, but you see the acceleration of the NASDAQ 100 seems to be outpacing the advanced decline. So again, probably will be seeing some kind of flattening off on the advanced decline line in the coming days. Then we probably will start developing a negative divergence. Then we get ready for a little bit more substantial pullback. Let's take a look at the relative strength. Now, instead of looking at chart, the stock or the instrument versus the S&P 500, I'm going to do it in reference to the NASDAQ 100 because we know the NASDAQ 100 been relatively strong in the last month or so, or ever since the beginning of the year. So what I want to do is I want to show you the relative strength of the other index to the NASDAQ 100. And then we're going to look at the FANG stock relative to the NASDAQ 100 index and then see which one of those FANG stock is are actually driving the NASDAQ 100. So right now, what you're seeing is the S&P 500. As you can see, this line is sloping down. That tells you the relative performance is below or underperform the NASDAQ 100. Because right now I'm referencing this to the NASDAQ 100 index. Okay, so you can see here, this is the in my script, I have the reference instrument listed here. So right now it's basically the S&P and the NASDAQ 100, because if I plot the NASDAQ against one NASDAQ by itself, we should get a 1. So here's the, let's go back to the S&P 500. So you see S&P 500 underperformed the NASDAQ 100. And then here's the Russell 2000. It's also underperformed. Dow Jones Industrial is also underperformed. And then here's the Dow Jones Transportation. Now the Dow Jones Transportation been relatively strong in terms of performance by itself. And here's the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index. You can also see it's underperformed. Now here's the FANG Index. This is the FANG Index that comprises only exclusively the FANG plus stock. And you look at how strong it is relative to the NASDAQ 100, because we already saw the NASDAQ 100, essentially looking at this list here, it have gained over 16% just in the last month and a half or so, year to date, right? That's pretty strong. But look at the FANG, the NY FANG index, almost 31%, right? So now let's take a look at the FANG stock, starting with Apple. See, Apple been underperformed, ever since the Q4 last year, but outperforming the NASDAQ 100 a little bit since the beginning of the year. And then here's the coming up to earnings. We got this humongous move here. But right now, the last couple of days is underperformed a little bit on the NASDAQ versus the NASDAQ 100. Then here's Tesla. Look at Tesla from the beginning of the year. It basically moved up. Right? And, year-to-date gain is almost 60%, going figure, right? So right now, you look at this chart here, it's way outperformed the NASDAQ 100. And here's Netflix. Netflix, ever since last year's negative earning, it's been whipping up and recovered nicely. And you see that it's been, outperformed the NASDAQ 100. Until recently, we see it is underperforming. But still, year-to-date, 23%, gained 23% in a month and a half or so. And here's Facebook, or Meta. you notice that since the October low, it came up. So it's been outperforming the NASDAQ 100. And look at the recent earning that 40. I kind of joke about the $40 billion buyback announcement, right? That's basically what this whip is, right? Okay. So, but again, you look at a year to date, okay, since the first of the year is 59%. It gained 59%. Now that that cannot keep up, right? Okay, and Google, you see, is 20% year to date, sort of kind of whipping up a little bit. So it's not anything like Facebook or Meta or Tesla. And Amazon here, it's been outperformed the NASDAQ 100 until recently with the earning came out, and it's kind of underperformed now. And here's Microsoft. Microsoft hasn't been doing that much except until recently after the earning. It seems to be outperformed the NASDAQ 100. Over the year to date, it's only getting a little bit over 11.5%. And here's the other one. This is the NVIDIA. You see, NVIDIA, since October, it ripped up, and then during the Christmas holiday, it kind of pulled back, underperformed, and then from then, after the holiday, beginning of the year, it ripped up again, and right now it's basically outperforming the NASDAQ 100. And look at this, year to date, almost 52%. Now, Alibaba is also part of the FANG Plus stock index here, and it also gained a little bit over, almost 20% year to date. But you can see that it has been outperformed the NASDAQ 100 until the beginning or the middle part of the January. Then you see that it kind of fall off the cliff here. It's underperforming the NASDAQ 100. And then the other Chinese stock is Baidu, and Baidu is also outperformed the NASDAQ 100. So there you have it. The three main stock that is actually pushing the NASDAQ up is Tesla, right? 56, almost 60% year-to-date gain. And Meta, Facebook, 59%. And NVIDIA, almost 52%. Now, of course, we also got Baidu is 40%. But the primary, three primary stock that pushing this NASDAQ 100 is Tesla, Meta, and NVIDIA. We're going to start looking at the E-mini S&P 500 first and looking at the market profile chart here. You can see that the market profile, you see this thing kind of ripped up today, but it did not leave any unfinished or poor structure. That's the remarkable thing, that with the price action that we saw, 60 point up, in 15 minutes, 70 point down in another 35 minutes, and then, whip up 90 point, in 2.5 hours. But again, we did not see any single prints like this, right? Or the, poor low like this, or the poor high, but it's basically just have a couple of distribution with a fat body in the middle. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Right now, we're basically looking at this point of control here at 41.21, and also these unfinished business, these single prints that we need to fill from February the 1st, and also the point of control. And again, also the what I call the scene of the crime, the FOMC rate announcement right before it announces. That is the level where the E-mini S&P 500 is sitting at 40.73. So keep in mind of this number here. It's going to eventually come back and tag this this level. Okay, so tomorrow it's going to be interesting. If it whip up again, we're basically looking at the 4200 and possibly get up to this 4220. And these are the single print from August 11th. And if it come down, tag this point of control, then we'll be looking at these single prints to get filled, essentially complete this fill here. Right now, it took 2 days, and the seller could not bring it back down to completely fill the single print. So we'll see, will the seller be able to take it down tomorrow and fill the single print and possibly push down to this point of control here at 40.79 and a quarter. Now on this ES chart, this candlestick chart, this is a 1 hour chart here. Here's some of the levels that I'm watching for tomorrow. Couple scenario. So here's the value area high that's from a few days ago. And what I want to see is, will it be able to come up and take out this value area high? which is 4195.25. If we could take it out and then push us up, then we'd be looking at this upper range of the weekly expected move somewhere around 4219.50. And so that would be the upside that I'd be watching for tomorrow, possible upside. Now, if it come up to the value area high and I'm unable to break through it and then get rejected to come down, or it just come down, then I'd be looking at this value area high, which is today's value area high at 4155.75. If it breaks below this, then I'd be looking for it to come down and test the point of control. Today's point of control at 4111.75. Then see would it be able to chop around and push us back up. If it's unable to push back up, then I'll be looking at the value area low at 4100.25, and also that pushes the price back into this huge balance area. Then I'd be watching for the possibility of this thing pushed through to another VPOC, version point control, down here at 4078.25, and that would also push us down toward the lower range of the weekly expected move at 4072.5. So that would be my scenario on the upside and the downside, and some of the levels that I'd be watching for the coming day. And especially tomorrow, I'd be keying off on these value area high and see what it will do. Because when it gets down to these levels, then it will bring into play those single prints, down here where those single print will be get filled. And now looking at the SPY, the ETF for the S&P 500, here are the scenarios that I'll be watching for tomorrow. Again, we're going to be keying off the value area high. The one from a few days ago is the 417.04, somewhere around that 417 level. So if the price could break above this 417, then I'll look for a push up to this the upper range of the weekly expected move, somewhere near this 419.80. And if we could break through and move through this upper range, then be targeting the version point of control up here at 422.25. Okay, that's the upside. Now, on the downside is, again, get rejected from this value area high and pushes back, or come down to this value area high, breaks below it, then be looking at this VPOX at 409.72. That would be 408.92, not 409. The 409 is for this zone here. So be looking at the VPOC at 408.92, and then down here at this value area low at 407.78. So if it breaks below the value area high, then we're looking at this VPOC and then the value area low. Then if it breaks through this entire zone here, this low volume zone, then we'll be looking at the VPOC down here at 405.42. And that would be coming into this lower range of the expected move between 404 and 402.50 for the week. So those are the scenarios that I'll be watching for tomorrow. And just a reminder, I also just released my weekly analysis on the FANG Plus stock. So if you're interested in look at my analysis on Apple, Netflix, Tesla, NVIDIA, go visit my Substack page at smtraderCA.substack.com. I hope this video provides you some insight on what to look for in the coming days. And if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and also turn on the notification icon so you won't miss any future video from me. And be sure to smash that thumbs up to help promote this video. Thank you for watching and stay safe.